The humanity has been left behind. And hang it in the Louvre. Fires for the end zone. Shore picked off. Ball game. Hello, everybody, and welcome back for Season 2, Episode 52 of White Noise Sports with Tanner White. That's right, 52 episodes. It's 2 entire years now, folks. Oh, it's been a pleasure. Been a grind at times, but I've really enjoyed it. And we have put out an episode on time every week for 2 years straight. Thanks so much to everybody that stuck around and supported. Pretty easy to recall what we did last week. And for those of you who carved out a full 37 minutes and change to listen to it from start to finish, you are the real MVPs. It's the NBA Hall of Fame tier list of active players, part 2 now coming at you, featuring my old college football teammate Isaiah Fleming, and we will take it away. Then when we're done, we'll get you out of here with the outro. Enjoy. And with the magic of editing, folks, it's like it only took a moment. We're back for the second half. Tanner White, Isaiah Fleming, the too young tier on deck. So, what's too young? Well, probably the best example that we had a guy that could be found down here would be a Luka Doncic type. So if you just haven't spent enough time around to be able to rack up the accolades, to be able to rack up the numbers, you'll probably find yourself here. You feel me?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Luka's that perfect name. He's right on that border. But I think these guys that we're going to talk about here, I think there'll be some interesting conversations. I think some guys are placed correctly, and I think maybe there's an argument for a couple of them.
Okay. I see one who it's, unsurprisingly the oldest guy in this group that might not want to be here, that might have beef with this spot. All right. So, first of all is our reigning MVP and champion, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. This guy's only 27 years old, easy to forget, and 4 straight years over 30 points a game. Maybe does he pad stats? Maybe is that whole team built to have him produce? Maybe. All that stuff. But he's also kind of nasty. I'm not ready to say even that this year's Thunder are going to repeat. I think that if they did, that would help him a lot. And if
I
you have a
agree.
finals MVP, it would help him even more. But it's not if you retire today, in any way a Hall of Fame resume, I say
Did
with,
he,
kind of a question mark.
Tanner? Did he not win Finals MVP last year? Who won it?
Now, timeout. That's actually a great question. If I didn't put that on there, shame on me. It seems like it had to have been, right?
I think so. I think
Yeah,
there
he
was an
was he
argument
was
for.
the West Finals and Finals MVP. I thought so.
Oh wow, yeah. So SGA, wow, 4 straight years of over 30 points per game. Is that not insane?
That is a bit beyond ridiculous.
Beyond. I think he is just too young. Even though he's 27, he had to leave Kentucky pretty early. He's been in the league for some time now. It's just now it's finally he's stepping into that prime.
Yep. So this is 8 years in. He's in year 8
Oh
at
wow.
27 years old. That's a good problem to have. And he came out of right, like obviously, and remember he came out of the gate with the Clippers of all teams and was
Yeah, he did.
already really good and
He
was in the Rookie of the Year voting and stuff and was already a full-time starter.
Yeah, he was that whole year with the Clippers. I forgot he was even with the Clippers, Tanner.
It's so easy to forget, dude, because OKC is his franchise and he, owns probably portions of the city at this point, and
Yeah, he does.
yeah, he's an honorary mayor, you know that, and so yeah, but it is easy to forget. He's going to be butting up against those eligibility requirements as well for this year. Had a little injury stretch, but already back on the floor, and he's him.
Yeah, nothing's changed. SGA is always gonna stay the same. This dude is he's a walking bucket. He plays the game in a different way. I think he's taken what James Harden used to do and mastered it in a different style.
Hmm.
And if he becomes, you would say maybe his one weakness is his 3-point shooting, the consistency from there. If he adds that, which I fully believe he will over the course of his career, because like we said, he's only 27.
Yep.
He could definitely win a couple more championships, a couple more Finals MVPs, league MVPs, and maybe even one day be that if he maybe that's the way he increases that points per game to almost 35 points a game. And he could you imagine seeing a 35 point per game score
You
in the
know
league.
something? Because James Harden had the one with the 36,
Oh, he did.
yes, but not by much. Because it's still, I mean, who are our best scorers in the game right now? The Giannis's and Embiid's and Jokic's and all those guys. Yeah, James Harden has a better scoring season by far than any of them have ever had in their best season of their lives.
Yeah.
It's unspeakable, right? Like,
When you put it out there in the words like that, it's like, wow, we've been lucky to watch some of this.
uh-huh. Yeah, it's been a good time. Absolutely. And so the if you project what SGA is doing through 8 years here for another eight at something like a similar pace where you do have kind of the aging curve here, but the peak is this insane, it continues for a while, then it's going to be a very easy lock within a couple of years' time, to be honest with you.
Yeah, literally. Like this dude's only 2 years away from 10 years of service.
Yep.
Like he's getting up there. Him and were him and Luca in the same class?
Yeah. So you're not talking exactly the same age, however, the same rookie class.
Oh wow. So yeah. Yeah, these guys that class was something. Then we have another one of those guys from that class, draft class, Trey Young.
Yep. Yeah, he features here, of course.
I don't know how you feel about Trey. I think he's too young, and I think he still has some work to do in terms of his impact on the game. But he's a very entertaining player to watch.
Absolutely. As I think Anthony Edwards, who's the next guy that I listed here in the too young tier, is one of the most entertaining guys ever to watch, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he
Um,
is. He's fun.
I think you want to talk about physical talents, and there's just not many that have ever had that total package that he has. The numbers are big. It's troubling to have kind of no hardware where Anthony Edwards is at in his career, you know?
Yeah, he's been there. He just he ran into the Nuggets and stuff like that. But he's also like I think out of all these guys that we've talked about so far, he's by far the youngest, and he is truly one of those too young tiers. But you see it in him. You see it.
It's a good thing to be able to talk about a guy, and you're right, he's only 6 years in, and he is still 24. Like, it's
Yeah.
absurd that you could have a Hall of Fame discussion, except for the fact that he's one of the most physically talented ever.
Yeah, he kind of is like one of those old school guys with like the new school game, and he's just so fun to watch. And he's fearless.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be like a little something off about you to have that kind of play style.
Yeah, and he said he was a football guy at heart, so it makes sense.
Mhm. You talk about guys that play insanely hard every single night, giving you 110% effort. Dude, Jalen Brunson, he has endeared himself to me so much the last couple of years. They still don't rotate with the Knicks. I mean, the numbers that and the minutes that their starters play compared to everybody else, is like, man, this feels abusive of them. Jalen Brunson just plays so hard. He's only had 5 years as like a full time starter. When I looked up and down his basketball reference, I thought that can't be right. But in those 5 years, spectacular.
You got to think about where he started. He was a second round pick, if I believe, for the Dallas Mavericks, and he played next to Luca for a while, so it was hard. And then they finally seen that they worked together, and he's taken off every year. And then he got that big contract with New York. And that media market, the stage that New York brings you, like
Always.
he's been able to he's performed and been so good. So good. He is so fun to watch, and he's one of those guys that's been like doubted because of his size, and a lot of people don't think you can get your shot off, but he is such a crafty player. He's so fun to watch, and like you said, he's put in a lot of work to even be in like a discussion like this.
Hmm. But a lot more to do for him, more
Yeah,
so than even probably SGA. Definitely more to do for him than Luca, right? And
yeah.
so you've got to keep doing it for a long time.
Yeah, he can't take a break now. He has to like put his foot on the gas because like when you talk about the Hall of Fame, not everybody gets in that. It's an elite fraternity, in each respective sport. So like unfortunately, there's gonna be guys that we talk about that we may like as players. we think could be in the discussion, but they just might never come to fruition.
And
So
they may be some of the best. I think
yeah,
what's trickiest is that we know that kind of right now the standards are going to have to evolve to the modern game. They're going to have to favor some of the things that the modern game favors, right? I mean, the
you have
greatest
to.
jump shooters of all time, almost all of them are active right now. The greatest three-point shooters, many of them are active now.
Yeah.
You know? Dude, Con Kneppel, like, brother, what is a Con Kneppel and why is he the best shooter in the league?
That dude is a baller.
So fun to watch. Oh my goodness. And it's not even close between him with efficiency wise, plus where he shoots from, his shot chart, and his percentage and everything. And then he smashed the rookie 3-point record. It was 58 games in, I think. He had already set the rookie record. Just absurdity in every way. And so, like, yeah, the Hall of Fame voting eventually is going to have to reflect the dramatic differences of the game.
A
And
100%.
so that's
I'm with you. And
it,
and those are the type of perfect people, right? Because are they like most sports league where writers and the viewers of the game more so than the players of the game or peers in the game vote?
that's a great question. I'm trying to think. I think it's the Basketball Hall of Fame's honors committee.
Mm.
Trying to think. And so I do think you have a panel that's similar to like the Writers Association for the NFL. And so it's like it's got your former players on it. It's got your sitting Hall of Famers, and then it's got execs, administrators, and the media. It's funny because it's so much more confidential. Wouldn't you like to see like real strong transparency across all the leagues? It seems like we're as a society that's where we should be.
Yeah, especially when it comes to voting for Hall of Fame. Like, like people are really curious to understand where some of these decisions come from. I think that's been a hot topic on the football side of things of late
Yep.
after this year's Hall of Fame class. But I think I don't really recall so many issues with the NBA, so maybe they have a little bit better of a process, regardless if it's private or not. So, but I'm with you. I would love some more FOIA requests, if we should put it
Ha
that way.
ha. Yeah, have everybody disclose a vote like the moment it's done, have cameras in the room when they're voting. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that ain't gonna happen. But it's a fun thought.
Fun thoughts and dreams.
Yes. Other players that would affect as we round the list out here for too young tier. Somebody I want to move down. Somebody I'm probably gonna take off of here because I just think he's too much of a head case. Okay. Ja Morant. There's
Yeah,
there's the there's so much up with Ja.
and it's so disappointing because that little stretch he had, he was phenomenal. Like, absolutely, hands down, a future face of the league, right up there in that same conversation with Anthony Edwards and the likes, Luka Doncic. He was fun in Memphis. They're a fun basketball city, so but some guys can't get out their own way, man. It is what it is.
Yeah, I think I would be tempted right now to bump him all the way down to he probably ends up in Hall of Really Good. I think
Yeah,
that's the
I'm with
most
you.
likely thing for his whole career because the whole franchise isn't gonna fix itself over there quickly in Memphis, and they're not gonna trade him seemingly anytime soon. And so, yeah, I struggle to find a path on which he becomes a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, hopefully, for the guy it turns around because you know it's still in there. He's only 26.
Absolutely.
That's the one beautiful thing about NBA basketball. Is these guys get into it so young that even like we've talked about multiple times, 8 years of service, you're only 26, 27. That's just now hitting your prime. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, but hopefully behind the scenes he's getting his head on straight and we can enjoy that talent that's been given to us. Well, blessed to us to watch.
Yeah, he is one of the most exciting players throughout this entire list. I mean, I want to frankly watch John Morant highlights 20 more times than I want to watch Paul George.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that's not even an
1,000.
offense to Paul George, who has great moments, but it's just Ja's different when he can get out of his own way.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, man. It's a shame on that, but I think he's going to be one of our first to be truly bumped down, and that would find him in Hall of Really Good. It just unfortunately makes too much sense, even at 26 years of age. That's the worst part of it all. Now the oldest guy in this tier that I put in right now, he's a superstar, and I struggle with that because at 29 years old and you're currently a superstar and you made 7 straight All-Star games, I want to move you up. Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, that's a great name.
He's just, oh man. Is it a Hall of Fame career at the age of 29? As in, he calls it today, stops playing? Well, I think undeniably no.
Yeah, I'm with you. No,
But is it a Hall of Fame career really soon on the trajectory that he's on? That's tough because do you want to say virtual lock? No. Do you want to say close? Eh,
I'm
maybe.
not gonna lie to you, Tanner.
Is he
I,
close?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's just gonna be one of these talented scorers that we've had in the league. I mean, we'll see what he does in Cleveland, but
Yeah.
his career has always been kind of, even when he was in Utah, he's had good role players or good partners or cast members with him, but he's kind of always been on those franchises where he's been the star, but they haven't really amounted to much.
Hmm.
Utah had a couple good years with him. Like I said, we'll see what he does in Cleveland, but I just think he'll be in the Hall. I think maybe he'd be in that next tier down, or the Hall of really good.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate. I know Donovan Mitchell is not the best player in this too young tier. Like frankly, not close, right?
No.
But I know that he is one of the absolute most consistent players in the entire league. And you know exactly every single year what you're going to get from him, which is a lot more than you can say for most of these guys. And it's really refreshing. I think, Jalen Brunson now for like the last 5 years is probably the next most consistent guy in here, I'd say. But yeah, it's tough to say that his pure like scoring gets him in the hall on its own. That's another one of those where voters are going to have to make adjustments. You can see 25 points a game for a whole career, even multiply that out by a career of 15 years, and there are going to start probably being more and more of those guys that don't make the Hall of Fame. Would be my
Yeah,
guess.
that's how talented it is nowadays.
Yeah,
It's
it's a good problem
insane.
to have.
It is. It's a great problem to have, especially as a fan.
Yeah, where there's more total superstars in the league, I'd say.
Yeah, and that's what the parity in the league. Like ever since the Warriors dynasty, that's kind of those multi-year championship runs. You may make it, but you don't win it every year. Even look at the Nuggets.
Yep.
They were very dominant, but they only won one. So I don't know, man. We have a great problem to have, and the game is in a really good place, I think.
Mhm.
And I don't think we can really ask for much more.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. It hurts praising a commissioner because I don't know how much of like the day-to-day stuff that they actually get changed and the stuff that they really affect. But if I could, I'd just take another moment to just tip a freaking cap to Adam Silver. As compared to commissioners of our other major sports, I think Adam Silver is one of the really good ones. And the changes that he makes around the game, even sometimes we don't always see the vision off the bat, really ends up positive.
Yeah, even like look, I think he took a lot of heat for that play-in tournament in the mid-season tournament. You know what I'm saying? And I think both of those have been a hit. I think they've
Yeah.
been really competitive, and people sit down and watch that. I know the ratings were down before, but I've seen a thing recently. They're going up and they're skyrocketing. And it's a credit to him and the innovative ideas. But it's mainly a credit to these players. And the work they put in and the talent they have.
Hmm. Yeah, man. Shout out to him. Now, as we finish off too young tier, we mentioned Trey Young is in here. He's pretty darn good at basketball. He's just not efficient. That's not that huge of an issue. Um, you want to go look at, for example, like Jason Kidd's career shooting numbers. The guy's like 40% from the floor for his whole career. And everybody knows, okay, well, he's the captain and he's Mr. Triple Double and he's all that. And so what does just pure field goal percentage mean? and Trae Young's at 43.2% for his career. It's it's notable just because it's different from other players. It's notable just because, like, well, you can have your Anthony Davis types or your Giannis types, and they can shoot 60% from the floor. But what are the shots that they're taking, obviously? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Um, so Trae Young is an awesome scorer. He is one of the best floor generals that's active right now. But it's still 27 years old. Almost no one has ever built, and we probably haven't said this yet. Almost no one has ever built a Hall of Fame resume by the age of 27. It almost can't be done.
Yeah, it's really hard to do that by 27.
And I don't think most people can do it even in their first decade in the league. I know that, of course, you have an eligibility requirement and it exists for a reason, but you can't expect anybody, probably even within their first 10 years, for the most part, no matter how big that peak is, how long that peak is, you can't expect that within 10 years you're going to hit all of the different criteria that all these voters look for.
And it's nitpicked so tightly. Like we're talking about really good players and these numbers that they have. Because like you mentioned, Jason Kidd in the 25-9 career average points per game and assists per game.
Mm-hmm.
That's really hard to do, and he's done it in Atlanta where his supporting cast hasn't always been the best. And I'm curious to see what he does in Washington because they have a little bit of a sneaky, really good foundation to build on. Their young draft pick from this past year is pretty good. They have some young guys, and then you throw in they got Anthony Davis now, and you throw in a Trae Young. They could be a team. We'll see what happens.
Do you know what they perfectly remind me of and who they're mirroring so well? It's
Who?
actually the Washington Nationals. I've been
Oh,
been looking at this for a while, and I'm like, so James Wood looks like a very outstanding rookie last year. I know the guy had a lot of swing and miss, but unbelievable, absurd power. And just everywhere else around the franchise, they're slowly bringing in pieces, and they have a really cheap, really accessible rebuild that is nearing its end. And I mean, it's not as cheap, obviously, well, the NBA just never is, right? You know how basketball money is. But man, both of those teams, I was like, I really see the vision with both of them, and then they both just happen to be in Washington. I think both these teams are going to be really good really soon.
yeah, isn't it? Is Washington, the city of Washington, always like they might be dormant for a little while sports wise, but then
Hmm.
they always have a nice little run, a nice little spurt. You bring in those three, that could be a rocking sports city, kind of the same way Detroit has really taken off the last few years.
Yeah, that could be kind of the next one up, right? Funny to say it, but it definitely could.
It definitely could.
Last guy into young tier. You heard he's coming back, right?
I
That's
did.
gonna
Big
be,
news.
dude. That's big for the league. Jason Tatum. 6 straight All-Star years before the injury, the Achilles tear. It set back his whole career. That's not a secret. But before that, averaged 73 games a year. That's huge, and that's incredibly rare for superstars. And won a chip.
He did win a chip, and him and SGA. That's what makes these two like different from I think the rest of the list in my opinion
Hmm.
because he is young. He's 28, but he's been in the league for a while. Even in his rookie year from the jump, conference finals appearance versus the Cavalier-led LeBron team, like it took him to 7 games. Like from the jump, Jason Tatum has been one of those guys, and he gets better and better and better. And he's also looking like he's going to be that next guy that takes over Team USA. And
Hmm.
hopefully he bounces back. I seen a thing. This is like the shortest time frame NBA players came back from a torn Achilles. So shout out to him and the work he's put in as former athletes. We know.
Yeah, man, super. It's just big for the whole league to have him come back. It really is. And
Yeah.
then Boston becomes, of course, a threat to Detroit in the East.
Oh, immediately that team is still they've stayed afloat and been really good. Still, you add a guy like him, give him a month or so to get back in the flow of things. Man, that guy could be they could really help the Celtics become a classic old school Pistons Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. Man, I'd love it.
And what if they make that whole run? What if whoever ends up coming out of the West, I still am kind of leaning towards OKC, but what if regardless, when Tatum gets back on the floor, the Celtics click so much and they're so unstoppable and they shoot the ball so well, and Jaylen Brown just continues doing what he's doing. And then you have Tatum with 2 rings at still 28 years old. What if, dude?
Yeah, I think he's getting close up to the being elevated a tier, man. I think he's
That's what I'm
right there.
saying. I think that he would be undeniably close when you have the 2 rings at 28 years old, and he would be pushing for virtual lock after like 1 to 2 more big years, maybe.
Maybe. Maybe I think it's a big maybe, man. I don't think it's a big maybe. I misspoke. I think you're right on. Hit the head of the nail, man. I think he's really close. Out of all these guys, him and SGA are the closest ones to being all right. Time to put in that next category.
hmm No doubt. And the advantage is only to SGA right now from kind of still riding the highs of the MVP season. He's still the defending champ and the MVP of the finals, and that's why he's over Tatum for right now. But Boston with healthy Tatum is going to be real dangerous again.
Yeah, well, and it'll be fun to watch. I'm excited to see how he looks.
Yeah, man, me too. We won't have to wait long. That wraps up the too young tier. I don't think we're moving out anybody except Donovan Mitchell. Unfortunately, he's gonna have to get bumped. And well, let's say Ja as well.
Yeah,
Unfortunate, but if the man could get out of his own way, then the decision would be a whole lot different. But we will take Ja Morant and Donovan Mitchell out. Still left with a really good cast in here. They're just gonna have to keep doing it. And that's the best thing about it is we have faith that almost all these guys will. They're in good spots.
yeah, and then that's what we want to see, and the game wants to see it. So let's hope for the best, man, and enjoy it.
hmm Another special tier here coming as we kind of had the same thing with LeBron and Steph in the GOAT tier. This is alien tier. Shohei Ohtani used to belong to this. I'll tell you what I mean by that, right? Because now he's got 4 MVPs, all unanimous, and the conversation is over, right? And he's one of the greatest baseball players that's ever lived, if not the greatest, right?
Yep.
But the alien tier is we don't know what to do with you because we've never seen something like you. There's only 2 players in this for now. If you come up with anybody else, let me know. But Victor Wembanyama and Zion Williamson. One is probably going to win MVP this year if I don't want to say probably because you never know how the eligibility stuff's going to shake out. Like Wemby still is not in any way guaranteed to be eligible, right? I think he could win MVP and would be roughly deserving, but nobody knows how that's going to go. And besides that, he's just the most unique player in the history of the league? Question mark.
Yeah, he is. I don't know if you can even put a description by him. He's literally. I think alien is the perfect word. The dude is like, what are they putting in baguettes in France? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We didn't think we ever saw Kevin Durant before, and then here comes this guy.
Yeah,
Like, what
who's a head taller,
a head taller,
shoots better,
athletic, shoot.
blocks, blocks shots as well as anybody that we've seen in years and years. It's nonsense.
Man, I just hope he stays healthy, Tanner. I hope he does. Like, those big guys have issues,
Yeah.
but he is he's a real life giant, like different. He's just a different breed, and Alien is perfect for him. And you mentioned Zion. I think that's an interesting conversation. When he has played, he has been effective, he's been efficient, he's been dominant at times, but it's just he's getting dangerously close to, man, like not bust, but just a missed opportunity, I guess is the best way to put it.
Mm, okay. So if I had to pick one other guy for alien tier, here's the funny thing: is it would be Anthony Edwards because of unreal, probably never quite seen before physical ability, right? Zion, you're not supposed to be, like 300 pounds, but like some of the most explosive that we've ever seen, right?
Yeah.
That was clear when he was 18 years old. That was clear in college at Duke, and we know how that team did. Does everything always translate? Obviously not, right? We all know guys like that. Dude, you and I played with guys like that, right? That had
Yeah.
unspeakable physical ability and just couldn't put together on the field, or in this case, the court. It's tough to even say that that's the issue with Zion, right? If he
Yeah.
could play full seasons and put together the runs that we know he's capable of, then he shouldn't have to be put in his own tier because he should be working toward, even at his young age, building a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, you would love to see him play more because you would love to see his game develop more. But when you're injured and things like that, he's missing a lot of just game time at this point in his career. But he, like you said, to be 300 pounds and fly like an eagle, like fly like a bird, is insane. And the power and the aggression he plays the game with is fun to watch. He reminds me of like a Sean Kemp.
All right, yeah, so is Sean Kemp. And, the rosters now, and they start listing him, Zion, at like 285. That might be true. I expect that he fluctuates from time to time. But I see the comparisons that you mean, and it's a whole different kind of archetype and a whole different kind of physical package that he brings. Like I say, if I had to move somebody down into here, it would be Anthony Edwards, just freakish athletically.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody would be able to counteract that argument, man. He is something else, for being what 6'5", 6'6", and just explosive off the ground like a pogo stick, but can shoot it with the touch. He's gonna be fun to watch. America's in good hands.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, man. Good time to be watching basketball still in the association.
Yeah, it's the best. It's one of the best leagues in the world. Any sport.
I'm with you, dude. Would you pick out any other true alien? Here's an interesting thought. I'm for the first time this is coming to mind. De'Aaron Fox,
So fast, but
unbelievable in that aspect, but eh, it's tough because have we probably seen somebody like De'Aaron Fox before? Yes. Have we seen anyone physically like Zion or Wemby? No. Ever, I think, in the history of the league.
definitely not Wemby.
Right.
Definitely not Wemby.
Right.
We've seen guys, anybody that's been that tall, they've been the traditional Yao Ming big type, Shaquille O'Neal big type, but the a guy that size, it's really only him and KD really. But like we mentioned earlier, as you mentioned, he's a whole foot taller. It's insane.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So you're thinking that we sit on that then with Alien Tier that we've kind of got.
Yeah,
Okay. Again, could Wemby win MVP this year? And could, for what it's worth, the Spurs really make a deep run and continue to build, kind of another dynasty? And then Wemby really quickly has a Hall of Fame type resume. Well, yeah, absolutely. I don't expect any of that with Zion, and it's not all his fault, but he's going to continue to miss games and going to continue to rack up injuries, and he's going to continue to have to carry too much of a franchise, and so probably going to find his way on the outside.
yeah. But hey, the biggest compliment he could be in is alien tier.
Appreciate it, dude. That rounds out the aliens, and we get to our favorite, and sometimes you don't want to say the quickest one because there's never a guarantee. There's really like a good chance that I miss some guys here that are just frankly in the wrong spots. But let's talk about Hall of Really Good. And I'll throw a big list out at you. I want you to stop at the first one that is like stabbing you in the freaking gut. Like when you find a real issue, then let me know, okay?
Okay, I got you. I can do that.
All right. DeMar DeRozan is still active. I did have to look this one up at first. I'm like, actually, I'm not 100% sure. But DeMar DeRozan, Rudy Gobert, Drew Holiday, Jamal Murray, Devin Booker, Pascal
I
Siakam. You want to go back?
Devin Booker.
Yeah.
I don't say he stabs in my heart, but I think he's been regarded as one of the better two guards, shooting guards in the league for a long time now. I think he has an argument. I don't hate it, but I think there's an argument there.
Okay. So I pull up the basketball reference. I'll send this to you and everything, right? On Devin Booker. The talent's not the issue.
It's
That's
not.
that's for certain. And 10 years in, you've met that requirement. What beyond the very eye-popping scoring numbers and the way that he absolutely catches fire and becomes, he turns on his microwave badge, you know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
and at that point, he becomes unstoppable, and he's got the 50s and the 60s that he can hit in terms of the big scoring games. What beyond that makes you say this is going to be a Hall of Famer?
Um, I just think that he has the ability to reach another level. We'll see what his team does around him, but he's a rookie of the year guy. He's averaged 22 points or more since 2016.
True.
He's multiple All Stars. I think he's won the Western Conference Finals MVP, I believe. When they made it, he's in NBA first team. If he can get some more first teams and make some more deep runs and lead the Phoenix Suns to like a top of the league finish year in year out in the regular season, I think Devin Booker has that possibility because he's been the star of Phoenix. He's been the star of a franchise for so long.
You know, there was the whole idea of the big three that Phoenix wanted to do that flopped so poorly.
Yeah, with
I
Kevin Durant.
still really struggle to blame Devin Booker for that. I don't think that was the issue.
No,
Because,
I don't think
man,
Devin.
in terms of efficiency of shooting, again, in Phoenix, they turned some of the most difficult shots, period, in basketball and some of the least efficient shots into their offensive staple. And we're so much better by leaps and bounds, by miles, than any other team as jump shooters, as mid range shooters. It's not supposed to be possible. But because you have a Devin Booker and, of course, at the time, a Kevin Durant that was contributing to that, and Bradley Beal, that was how they were able to pull it off, was because of the archetypes and the specific skills of the guys that they had. And Devin Booker is an amazing shooter.
Yeah, he is. And he can his passing is underrated as well.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, like you say, he can be a point guard, but hasn't spent much time there, partly because of just what the franchise needs and things, but is, as a shooting guard, kind of everything that you look for.
100%.
All right. And so, what would be the spot that you want Devin Booker?
I would say not in the. If there was a close tier, I would put him in the close tier.
Okay. So, you'd be willing to. So, other guys that we already had in the close tier: Paul George, Joel Embiid, Jimmy Butler, Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis.
Yep.
Is he the most relatable? Well, I think he has to be by far and away the most relatable to a Klay Thompson.
Either Clay or Jimmy Butler, close to Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. He's not the same defensive player by any means that Jimmy Butler
No.
is, and most people aren't. But I know what you mean. The most similar player, if you had to just pick one of those archetypes of like, oh well, I would put him in here. And so I'm okay with it. I know what you mean. Um, I think Devin Booker still stands out the most for the insane scoring outputs and not maybe the kind of every night, well, we know he's going to go out there and get 30 in the same way that, I mean, obviously Luka this year, right?
Yeah.
Just the automatic 30 when he just shows up to the arena. You're like, okay, well, we're going to concede that. But Devin Booker, when he gets that microwave badge on and he just cannot miss and hits from everywhere, and you look up and it's like, wait a minute, this is halftime. How does he have 35? What's going on here?
Yep.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, he'll do that to you from time to time if you're not careful.
Yeah,
Um,
he'll get you when you fall asleep. He'll get you.
yeah,
Grand Rapids, shout out.
yeah, that's right. Grand Rapids native. I'd forgotten about that, but I saw that on the basketball reference page.
Yeah, he's a big Tigers guy. He always rushed the Tigers, so we love that.
Oh yeah, man, that makes me happy. Trust me, sitting here in my basement, surrounded with all the Tigers stuff, I feel it, and that's creeping in. We might have to chat on that soon.
Yep, we will.
All right. Rest of the Hall of Really Good tier, it goes like this. This one's kind of strange. Pascal Siakam, but then again, you get towards the bottom of the tiers, and so you get what you get sometimes. Bam Adebayo, Jalen Brown is interesting. This was written a while ago, and now I see Jalen Brown and what he's been doing this year with no Tatum, and I'm like, hmm, question marks. We'll get back to it, but Kevin Love, again, still active. He's still holding on.
Yeah.
Al Horford, same thing, I believe. Domantas Sabonis, he's so tough to know what to do with, but was so absolutely magical last year. You would have thought, okay, the point center archetype is it's rare to find a guy that really fits it and can do everything that's asked of a point center. And then you saw Sabonis racking up all the triple doubles last year, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah, he's like such a perfect mix of like a little bit of toughness, get on the glass, but can score, but can also get to like give it up and make plays for his teammates. He's like the perfect type of big that if maybe
Mm,
if Indiana had him, maybe they're more of a threat in that finals last year.
mm-hmm.
He is a heck of a player. I think he's really good right now. I think he still has some time to move up in tiers, but I'm with you. He is that point center. When you look up point center in the Webster's dictionary, you're gonna see Sabonis.
I struggle to think that Sacramento is ever going to be the best place for him for him to really put the cap on his career. So it's kind of unfortunate he's stuck there, as it were,
Yeah.
as they really went and cleaned house, no De'Aaron Fox and stuff. And then of course Sabonis injured for much of this year. But even with that, I still see ways that he could figure out a Hall of Fame case if he gets back to what he was doing last year and protracts that out.
Yeah, Hall of Fame is tough for Sabonis right now, but
It is.
on our list, he could maybe continue working up and go through the steps of like a close tier, and we'll see how much time he has left. So
Yeah, that's going to be a reevaluate down the line thing for sure.
for sure.
But currently, we say Hall of really good. And the last two, these are good players. Now, not of the same age, not of the same ilk, not of the same archetype, but it's Carl Anthony Towns and Tyrese Halliburton.
I really love. I'm a big fan of Carl Anthony Towns.
Okay.
He's been in the league for a minute now too, but I think he's still relatively young. If I believe he may have just turned 30. Um, but he's kind of been one of these bigs that's really like transcended his position in a way of like giving teams a blueprint of what they want in this modern day game. I think but right now I'm with you. I think I see him as just a Hall of really good player. I think he's always going to be a really good player, but he just hasn't been able to get over the hump, whether he was in Minnesota or whether he's been in New York so far. Now Tyrese, I think he's right now the path he was on before he got injured. The too young right now. He's just too young to tell.
Mm.
Because
Okay,
he
so too
also,
young one way or the other. That's a good point. Where you're not even saying that they're out. You're just saying, well, no, I just want to watch this guy more.
yeah, I know he's a little older because he went the traditional college and stayed for multiple years, I believe. But shoot, he was on Team USA this past year. This past summer, or 2 summers, whatever it was, 2 summers ago now almost.
As we
So
record, he turned 26 about 5 days ago. Did
yeah, so
Halliburton.
that's about what I thought right there, 26. But
Mm.
that's the same age as some of those guys on the list.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same age as Ja Morant. Like that's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, and he's been to a finals. He's
hmm
won an Eastern Conference. So he's shown that ability to be a next level player, and we'll see how it develops down the road. We'll see how he bounces back from his injury.
Yeah, no doubt. Would you move Cat up anywhere for any reason? I hear your argument for sure on Halliburton for too young. Would you move Carl Anthony Towns?
I think I would leave him right where he is because he's kind of at the point where he's put in enough time where it should kind of be established right now, and I just don't see it. That's my opinion, but I think he's right where he should be.
Okay. You know what's hilarious is there's one name that I completely skipped over. Shame on me, but it's just easy to. I don't want to say it's easy to forget this gentleman. That's not nice. Kyle Lowry.
I think he's just gonna be always considered. I don't see his just to be frank. I don't see the opportunity for him to be in a Hall. I think he's been a very impactful player on the teams he's been, but I don't see it personally. What say you?
It's been a good, incredibly long 19 years with Kyle Lowry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sticking around as an incredibly undersized guard, frankly, and still finding for so long ways to contribute. But it kind of feels like it's over now and it's been dragged out for a while. I mean, I'm pulling up the basketball reference page again, right? Like, Mr. Raptor was with Toronto, let's see, 2012, he came over and was there until the bubble. And it's already, you're talking 5+ years that he's been gone from there. And then from then on, it's just kind of petered out.
Yeah.
When he
Mm.
was Mr. Raptor there, he was a very good player and had a big
He,
impact on all the postseason runs and things. But yeah, there's a lot of not outstanding when you just look on his sheet. And
he also was a key
there's
component to the Miami team in the bubble, as you mentioned.
okay, okay,
You know, like he was a big part of that. He hit some big shots throughout the playoff run, and he's always, like I said, he's had a major impact on teams. But like he's always been like that third option. Like in Toronto when they won, it was him, Kawhi. It was Kawhi Leonard, Pascal Siakam, then him.
hmm
And then when he was with DeMar DeRozan, they were the 1-2, and they could never beat LeBron.
right,
So it's like it's tough to put him outside of like just the Hall of Really Good, but it's been, like you said, a great 19 years. You don't last 20 years in the NBA being, not as talented as that guy is.
yeah, absolutely. And at 6 foot, I mean, 180 something maybe, right? Had
Yeah.
always been undersized, dramatically more so than people think of, like a Steph Curry or people think of a Jalen Brunson, uh, Rajon Rondo a while ago, right? Like, yeah, well, he did put together a very productive career and a fun career to watch, but it doesn't scream as he nears his 40th birthday. Nothing screams Hall of Famer, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then where is he at right now? Is he getting any run? I haven't checked in on Kyle Lowry.
Been with Philly the last couple of years.
Yeah.
s- you know, has kind of been phased out almost to not quite the Udonis Haslam role. But, you probably become kind of a player coach after a while when you're really not playing much and you struggle with injuries. And then when you're not injured, you're just not in the rotation and all that, those kind of things.
Yeah, and they got a young boy over there, Tyrese Maxey, who's very talented as well.
Yeah, man, he's got to be in the MVP conversation.
Kinda, he's gonna work his way in there for sure one day if it doesn't come to fruition this year, but he's being mentioned as
hmm
of now. We got still got over a month and a half of basketball, so
Yeah, man, it's gonna be really, really good basketball. That's what I'm super excited about. It was another thing that I said just like right before we were hopping on with this second half is, man, the league is in just such a good spot and it's in good hands and we've been spoiled with it.
yeah, you really can't ask for much more as a fan of the game, and especially the way these guys are playing outside of the All Star break. It's top level basketball. It's what you pay your ticket. It's worth the price of admission. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I gotta find a game to go to, especially, man, Pistons game at some point, still at the top of the East. I gotta make an excuse to go over there to the East side.
Yeah, me and you both, brother. Me and you both.
So maybe we find a time where the Tigers are in town early on and we just catch a little doubleheader. What do you think?
Maybe that sounds like a plan. That sounds like a full day in the beautiful city of Detroit.
Ooh, might have to. Oh, exciting. But we will go back and recap the Hall of Really Good Tier real quick and then get everybody out of here. So it still reads like this: DeMar DeRozan, Rudy Gobert, Drew Holiday, Jamal Murray, Devin Booker, we're saying is elevated. That's I'm willing to give you that. I'm trying to think. What do we say with Devin Booker? Are we saying he's close?
We're saying he's close.
Okay. Yeah, because you can't really say too young by this point. All right. So other Hall of Really Gooders: Pascal Siakam, Bam Adebayo, Jalen Brown is tough. But frankly, when Tatum comes back, it's still going to be Tatum's franchise, and so probably that's where Jalen Brown's going to end up. Kevin Love, Kyle Lowry, Al Horford. Al Horford is just Mr. If he wants to run for president, I'd vote for him. You know what I mean?
I
Like most
love
likely guy to retire and become president. Love Al Horford, but yeah, not really a Hall of Fame type. And then Domantas Sabonis. and Karl Anthony Towns. Plus, Halliburton is. We're gonna move him up, or we're gonna keep him,
I think we can keep him right now, but it'll be exciting to see what he does. One
or
more
let's.
thing on Jalen
Still
Brown.
thinking. Well, first of all, with Halliburton, I'm convinced now with too young because of the other guys that we put in there, right? John
Yeah.
Morant, Trey Young, I think would be the number one that jumps out. It's telling me that yeah, Halliburton probably belongs there because his talent is massive.
Yeah. As we keep talking about, yeah, I'm with you. I think that too young is perfect category for Tyrese Halliburton.
Hmm. And then you want to flash back to Jalen Brown real quick?
The difference between him and the other people, Jalen Brown,
Yeah.
is he already has a Finals MVP with Jason Tatum on the court.
Yeah.
So he could also be in the too young right now too. I guess if you really want to talk about it and look into it, like he keeps getting better as well. So you could see him consistently elevating his game.
He would be the oldest guy among everybody that I listed in the two youngs. He's 29.
Oh wow,
So
I guess
that's the right. It's easy to forget that, right? And you've already played a decade of basketball most of the time. We're not gonna have any reason to call you too young.
yeah.
Insanely good this year. Unbelievable, frankly, this year. But a Hall of Fame career through 10 years, he doesn't have it. So what else would you, if you have to do something else, what would you do with Jalen Brown?
Oh, close because if he becomes a multi-time champion and continues playing the way he is, he's gonna be in that close category. But I think right now, I think Hall really good is perfect for him because the dude is talented, but it's tough to make the Hall of Fame.
Just is because listen to all those names and what all of your competition is. So Tatum comes back this year, but Jalen Brown is the star, and the Celtics win the chip. That for you means that he's close and like pretty close, like he's starting to knock on the door
I think he's starting that because if that happens, that's two Finals MVPs, two-time champion,
before
um,
the age of 30.
before the age of 30.
Yeah, that's incredibly rare.
Yeah, it is. And as we've talked about in the earlier portion of this, the older these guys are getting, they're still playing at a high level. So who knows what he can do after the age of 30?
Yeah. And Tatum's going to be around and healthy, and they've got reasons to continue to spend. And Joe Mazzulla's a good coach. Like, yeah, Boston should be great for a long time.
It's all out there on the table for them.
And still, probably, it's awesome to say that the Pistons are their number one competition, man, in the East.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go, Detroit basketball. Who doesn't love Detroit basketball? We waited a long time for this.
Yeah,
Since LeBron
absolutely.
James scored 25 straight on us.
Yeah, the suffering was worth it, you know?
Yeah, shout out Cade Cunningham and Jalen Durant.
Man, it's franchise changers.
Yeah, those dudes are fun to watch, man. Really fun.
All right. And so we will come to the close of the NBA Hall of Fame tier list. Once more, a marathon. You knew that it was going to be, as it always is when you get two guys who just talk too much ball. It's something of like an addiction, to be honest with you. But it's so productive. We change the world around here. We change the course of things, right?
Yeah, we do. Hey, I just want to say thank you to you, Tanner. It's awesome the platform you've built, and you know, can I give you a shout out? One major shout out.
Of course.
We need you on one of these March Madness games coming up here soon in the future.
You know something? I just had a buddy, uh, a guy that I'll now shout out here, Sean Massa over at Madonna calls games there, and the guy just on a whim he tags Gus Johnson after posting some calls that he had made of a fantastic whack championship, and Gus Johnson got back to him. I mean, I
Shout
could
out,
die happy at that point, dude.
shout out.
The
That would
Gus
be awesome.
Johnson.
That's awesome. Hey man, you keep working and it's gonna be there for you.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. Any closing thoughts?
No, once again, it's always a fun conversation with Tanner. It takes me back to the college dorm rooms and when we lived across the hall from each other in the basement. So, it's always a good time.
Yeah, man. An absolute pleasure. And thanks for taking me back to that with the dorm rooms. I can smell them now. Yeah.
That's not my room, by the way, for
No, I
anybody
know.
listening.
Don't remind me. I know it was mine. But what a time it was. All right, folks, that will wrap up our recurring guest appearance here with Isaiah Fleming. Man, we're going to have to talk to you again soon, I think. But thanks so much for joining us for this one for the NBA Hall of Fame tier list.
Yep, thank you, Tanner.
And now Tanner from the future rejoins you. That is all for the NBA Hall of Fame tier list of active players. Thanks so much to our guest Isaiah Fleming one more time for his triumphant return to the show. We hope to have him on again soon. To all of you, thanks so much for coming back week after week for 2 straight years now. Or, like I always say, if you're relatively new here, we are happy to have you. But either way, what is your imperative? Check out all my socials, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, at The Voice of Tanner, X, just Voice of Tanner, and the YouTube channel is the whole thing spelled out with spaces. Connect on LinkedIn, folks. Leave a like, comment, and share, and I'll talk to you soon. This has been Season 2, Episode 52 of White Noise Sports with Tanner White. Thanks for joining me.
The humanity has been left behind. And hang it in the Louvre. Fires for the end zone. Shore picked off. Ball game.